How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, or an Encoder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. And as always, if you guys do want access to a private repository, there's a link in the description down below that'll walk you through exactly how to gain access to that. Now, that being said, let's go and hop into what we're working on today. Today, we're going to go ahead and start getting work done on the content area. We need to go ahead and make like a top content bar that goes here. And we also need to go ahead and map through the data depending on what section we clicked on in the content bar. I don't know if we're going to get all of this done today. We're going to get part of it done, or what's going to happen is all going to depend on time. But let's go ahead and quit yapping, hop into the code, and get to work here. In the front end, we need to go ahead and go into our features and profile components. Let's go ahead and create a profile content component / profile content.tsx. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and make a profile content.css like so. And then let's go ahead and hop into our txx file. Let's go and import React maybe from React. Let's also import our / and this is profile content.css as well. Let's go ahead and make an interface, and it's going to be profile content, if I could type content props, and then let's go ahead and open this up. We'll have our profile user, which is a user. I cannot type this morning, I'm sorry y'all. User, and then let's go and import that. And we're also going to have posts, which is a feed post, which is why we were going to go ahead and fetch that yesterday or the last episode, or undefined. And we'll also have likes, which will be feed post, or it'll be undefined. So now we have our interface. Let's go and say export const, and this is going to be profile content with a react.fc. And this is going to go ahead and take in our profile and content props like so. Go ahead and break these apart. And here we'll have our profile user, we'll have our post, and we'll have our likes. I'll figure out why it's not working in a second. Go ahead and do this. We'll return a div really quick. Div the class name equal to profile-content. And then let's see why this is mad. Profile content props, because I spelled content incorrectly. Let's go and fix that. Now it's happy. So that is our basic setup here. Let's go ahead and set up our state. So I need to go ahead and set up the different buttons or little icons you can click on the top bar. So I'm going to go ahead and say const buttons is equal to, and this is going to be an array of objects. And here we're going to have content, and this is going to be post, and then this is going to be logged in is going to be false, so you do not have to be logged in to see this one. Next we have content is going to be equal to replies, and then here we're going to have logged in is also going to be equal to false. You don't need to be logged in to see this one. Next we'll have content, and this one is going to be highlights. So here, logged in will be true. You have to be logged into your account to see this one. Next we'll have content, which is going to be equal to articles. So here you must be logged in to see this one as well. So logged in will be true. We're going to go ahead and have content, and this one is going to be media. This one you do not have to be logged in, so this one will be logged in is false. And finally we'll have content. Let me make sure this is an object. We'll have content, and this will be likes, and this one will be logged in of true. You can only see your own likes. So now that's going to allow us to kind of map through the top bar. We're going to have const and then logged in is going to equal to use selector, and then we'll have our state and root state, and then this is going to be state.user. This is going to be how we know whether or not the user is logged in. We're also going to go ahead and have our active button, which one has been clicked on, and set active button maybe is equal to use state. Let's go ahead and bring that in. This will be a string, and then to start out, we're going to start out with post. And this is just going to be based on whichever one that we click on up here. Now we need to go ahead and import this root state. That way it's not complaining at us. And then we need to go ahead and just set up a quick function. So const activate button. And this is going to be an react.mouse event. And here this is going to be on an HTML div element. And then here we're just going to go ahead and say e.stop propagation. So we don't have any funky stuff going on. We're going to go ahead and set active button, and it's going to be e.current target and then .id. So we're going to go ahead and set the IDs of each one of these buttons when we map through them. So now let's go ahead and get this top bar working and looking good. So here we're going to go ahead and have a div with a class name equal to profile dash-content dash-top dash bar. Inside of here, we're going to have curly braces. We're going to say buttons.map. We're going to map each button. Okay. And then let's go ahead and do our arrow function like so. And then that looks fine to me. And here we're going to go ahead and say if, and then not button.length, or button.logged in, not length, I can't read, or, and then we're going to have another set of parentheses, button.logged in, and profile user .user_id is equal to logged in $.user_id. So basically what we're doing is if it's not required to be logged in, we will display it, or if it does require logged in and the profile user is equal to the logged in user, we'll go ahead and show it. So then we'll go ahead and return, and in here I'll have a div class name equal to, and this will be post dash content dash top dash bar dash button, and then the ID is going to be equal to button.content .to lowercase. So that's how we're going to go ahead and get that. I don't know why it's questioning whether it exists or should always exist, but whatever. On click is going to go ahead and equal to, and it's going to be activate button. Okay. And then inside of our button, we'll go ahead and have a div with a class name, maybe like a type equal to, and this is going to actually be curly braces backticks, and then $ curly brace. Active button is equal to, and then this would be button.content. I still don't know why it's thinking that it's possibly undefined. Maybe it's weird, doing something weird, but we're going to go ahead and see if the active button is equal to the one equal to the content.to lowercase. If that's the case, we're going to go ahead and have post dash content top dash bar dash title dash active. Okay. Otherwise, we're just going to go ahead and have post dash content dash top dash bar dash title. And then we're going to go ahead and close off this div. And inside, we'll go ahead and have button.content. I don't know why it thinks button content might be undefined, because it shouldn't be. But I guess if we need to, I'll just go ahead and put a question mark here to make it happy, because buttons is going from here. We're mapping through those buttons, and maybe it just doesn't know what the button is or something, but it is what is. And then down here, we'll have an else, which we'll just go ahead and return an empty div and display nothing basically. So that is the code for getting our top bar rendered out. So now let's go ahead and set up the CSS, get this in the code and see how it looks. So now we'll go ahead and say .profile dash content, maybe. This one is going to go ahead and have a width of 100%. It's going to go ahead and have a height, of fit-content. And then finally, we'll have a margin on the top of about 8 px. Next, we'll have our profile-content, and then this one will be our top bar. In here, we're going to have a width of 100%. We'll go ahead and have a height of 53 px, and then we'll have display of flex, a justify content, and this is going to be spaced evenly to space those buttons apart. We'll line the items in the center, and finally we'll have a border on the bottom about 1 px solid, and this is going to be pound E1, E8, and then ED, so our light gray color. Next we'll have our dot profile dash content dash top bar, and then this is going to be our button. Here we're going to go ahead and have width is 100% of the space we can take up, height will be 100% of the height, and then we'll have padding is 0.16 px. We will have a display of flex. We'll go ahead and justify content in the center, align items in the center, and then that's good to go. Then we'll have our profile dash content dash top dash bar dash button, and we're going to have a hover, maybe. Inside the hover, we'll have a cursor of pointer, and we'll also go ahead and have a background ground dash color of RGBA and 0,0,0, and this one's going to be 0.5, so a little bit lighter. And then we just need to have our different titles. So next we have profile dash content top bar, and that's going to be title dash active. And here we'll have a width of fit maybe dash fit dash content. We'll have a height of 100%. We're going to have a font dash size of 15px. We're going to have a font dash weight of 800. And then we will have color of black. And here we'll have a margin of 0, a padding of 0.4px. We have a border on the bottom of 4px solid, and it's going to be our blue color, so pound, and it's going to be 1D A1 F2. Hopefully I didn't scuff that. We're going to have a display of flex, and then we will flex direction, flex dash direction in column. We will go ahead and have our justify content in the center and align our items in the center. Next, we just need to go ahead and set up our non-active. So dot profile content top bar and then title. So our non-active title of a height of 100%. Again, we will once again have a display of flex. We're going to go ahead and justify content in the center. Well, actually, let's just do first our flex dash direction. Maybe if I could type. And this will go ahead and be column again. And then we'll go ahead and justify content in the center. We'll align items in the center. And then we'll have a font dash size of 15px again. We'll have a font dash weight. This one is going to be lighter, only 400px. And then we're going to have a margin, maybe a margin of 0 and a padding, if I could type. Padding of 0. So I spelled cursor wrong. Let's go ahead and fix that. There we go. And that looks good. Fingers crossed I didn't absolutely break anything. So now let's go ahead and hop back into our profile page and throw this in there. Inside our profile page, let's go ahead and scroll down here. So this is going to go below our information or followed by. So here we're going to go ahead and have our profile content like so. And then this is going to have profile user is equal to profile user, and then our post is going to be equal to profile post, and then finally our likes will equal to profile likes, if I could type. Okay, that looks good. Let's go and save that, and then now fingers crossed everything is looking good. Let's hop into a profile and see if I didn't mess anything up. So now you can see this is not quite right, so I did break something. Let's just go and inspect because you cannot actually click on these. So I typoed something, but you can see our little buttons here. And let's see here. So we have a top bar, and then we have our top bar button. And I'm guessing that's what's broken because none of these have any styles on them. So let's just go through and see what I typoed in profile content. Oops, because I did post content, not profile content. Let's fix that. So here, instead of post, this should be profile. I don't know why I type post. Same thing here. This should be profile, not post. I guess had a brain fart. Profile, and then here should also be profile. Okay, now let's go ahead and take another look. Okay, that made it a little bit better, but also worse. So now what's going down? We have a random button with nothing in it, and then all of these look correct. So this one is supposed to be post, I think. So let's see here. So content, that's why it might not exist because I typoed content right there. That's why it's mad. Let's go ahead and make sure this is also saying content. So content, there we go. And that's why it was mad up here as well, because it might not exist. Okay, let's take one last look here. There we go. That's what it should look like. And then if you click on it, it goes in between them. And now we need to go ahead and get some stuff set up. That way we can actually display stuff under here. So that's going to take a couple steps. That's why I'm not 100% sure if we're going to get everything done that we want to get done, but we'll see. So with that being said, let's hop into the code and try to start displaying some stuff here. So since we are in here, that's good to go. Let's go ahead and set up another interface under here. So we're going to go ahead and say interface, and this is going to be called post media props, and it's going to have a post ID, which is a number, and it's going to have a media which is a string, and this is going to be for our media part whenever you click on media to display that. Okay, and then let's go ahead and set up a state for this post media as well. So const, and this is going to be post media and set post media, and this is going to equal to use state, and then in here we'll have our post media props like that, and then this is going to be an array. And then let's go ahead and set this up. So this is going to basically extract all the images that we put into post and then put them in here. So we're going to say let media be a post media props array. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to see if we have some post. Then we're going to go ahead and say post dot for each, and then in here we'll have post, and we're going to go ahead and say if our post dot images, and then in here we're going to say dot length is greater than 0. So if our feed post has images on it, we're going to say post dot images maybe dot for each, and then for each post image, let's go ahead and do this, and then we're going to say media dot push, and then this will be post id. Post id will be post dot post id. It's annoying because it's a feed post, that's why it's kind of weird if y'all wondering. Immediately post image url, and let's make sure we do URL properly. So basically we're going to map through each one of our posts, and we're going to go ahead and return the image out of it if it exists. And then what is wrong with this guy is because we need to go ahead and return the media. Media, there we go. And I spelled media wrong or something. It's because we need to go ahead and set this equal to an empty array. All right, so there we go. So now if we don't have any posts whenever we load this component, we'll just ignore this. Otherwise, that'll set that. And then let's go ahead and say const navigate for good measure. And honestly, I kind of want this up here maybe, but I guess it doesn't matter. Const navigate is equal to use navigate. And then let's go ahead and bring that in, and that should be good to go. Cool. So now let's go ahead and set up the rest of our stuff here. And underneath our navigate or activate button, we'll have const and open post will be equal to e react.mouse event. And this will be on an HTML and div element. And then let's go ahead and open this guy up. So e.stop propagation. And then inside here, we'll have our navigate, and we're going to navigate to backticks / post / and then $ curly brace e dot current target, and then .id. So whenever we click on a post in our profile, we'll go ahead and open that up inside of our open post, and that's good to go. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to come under here, and we're going to set up the rest of the stuff we need. So we're going to go ahead and say if posts are not undefined, and we could have just said if post, I'm sure, but I think I might have had some issues. I'm not sure. We'll go ahead and open up some fragments. Otherwise, I'm guessing we're just going to go ahead and return some empty fragments, or we're going to actually return a div with a class name equal to profile content spinner dash box. So if we're like loading the post or something, we'll do that. And let's see what is wrong with this. Let me fix this. This should be an and or a question mark. That's what's going on. There we go. It's not mad at us. Terrific. So now if we don't have the post, we'll just go ahead and show our circular progress. SX, actually size equal to 20, and then SX equal to, and then we'll have color, pound, and then this will be Twitter blue, 1D, A1, F2, like so. If we're in the process of loading post, we'll go ahead and show the circular spinner. If we don't have any posts at all, we'll just display nothing. Basically, it is what it is. So now we need to go through and set up all of this fun stuff. So first we'll go ahead and say curly braces, parentheses, active button is equal to post, post, or active button is equal to replies, because for whatever reason, these are basically the same thing on Twitter. So I'm just going to group them together and save ourselves some time. So div class name equal to profile dash content dash post. And maybe all the profiles I looked at just didn't have any true replies, so I just displayed the post. But every time I looked, it was just the same thing. So we're going to have post dot length is greater than 0 question mark. So if our post dot length is greater than 0, we're going to go ahead and say post dot map each post, and then we're going to go ahead and return. And let's go ahead and make this look pretty. So then we will go ahead and return a post where the feed post is going to be equal to post notification. Notification will equal to false, and our key will equal to post.post.post ID. Let's go ahead and import our post really quick. So do this, import that. Okay, and that should be fine. Now it's mad at me for who knows. And let's see here, because I need to go ahead and do this. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and have an empty thing here. So that should be fine, I believe. And in here, we'll just go ahead and for now display user doesn't have any post. Later on, we're going to go ahead and set up a special component to deal with that. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Next, we're going to go ahead and have another set of curly braces. It's going to be active button is equal to media. And then so in here, we're going to go ahead and have a div, the class name equal to, and this is going to be profile dash content dash media. And this one does have to be different because it's going to be a flex wrap that has the boxes for the media basically. So here, once again, we're going to go ahead and have curly braces, and it's going to be post media dot length is greater than 0 question mark. So if it is the case that we have media, we'll go ahead and say post media dot map, and then we're going to go ahead and map through each post. It's not really a post, but it is what it is. And as we map through each one, we're going to go ahead and return, and then we will return an img. Inside the img, we'll have a class name equal to, and this will be profile dash content dash media img. We're going to go ahead and have an src equal to post.media. We'll go ahead and have an ID equal to backticks, $ curly brace, post.post ID. And then finally, we'll have an on maybe, if I could type, on click equal to, and this will be open post. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and close that guy. And then same thing here, outside of here, we'll have another set of fragments that says user doesn't have media. And we're going to make a more official component in a future episode probably, so that's good to go. This is mad at us because also the IDs will be the same sometimes, but what can you do? So I'll just go ahead and say, maybe I'll say backticks, $ curly brace, post.post ID, and then we'll go ahead and say image or something. Cool, so there's that. It's still mad at us. I don't know why. I'm just gonna ignore that. So now that is if we have media, and then we need to go ahead and do highlights or our articles, I think is what they're called. So we're gonna go ahead and say active button maybe is equal to, and then we'll say highlights, or we'll go ahead and say active button button is equal to, and this will be articles. So this is the case, we'll say and then in here we'll go ahead and have div class name equal to profile, and actually no, that's fine, yeah, profile dash content dash highlight dash articles. I can't type. And in here we're going to have another set of curly braces. So here we'll see active button equal to, and then highlights. I can't spell though. Highlights, there we go, and question mark. So this is the case. We'll go ahead and have our highlights. Make sure we actually set that highlights, and then otherwise we'll go ahead and have articles like so. So that is that setup. And then finally, we just have our likes to set up. So now we'll have one more curly brace, we'll have active button equal to likes. And then we'll say, and inside here, we'll go ahead and do something similar. So we do need to add one more thing to this. So we'll say div class name equal to profile dash content dash post. But then also inside of this post, we have like a little header thing that goes on the top. So let's go ahead and also say div class name equal to profile dash content dash likes. And inside of here, we're going to have our lock, lock SVG. Go and import that. Our height is going to equal to 18. Our width will equal to 18. And our color is going to equal to white, like so. And then underneath this, it's going to say your likes are private. And then it's going to say only you can see them. And then underneath this, we'll go ahead and have our curly brace and likes question mark. So make sure we actually have some likes before we try to display anything. We do is say likes dot map, and we'll map through each post that we have liked. And then in here, what we're going to go ahead and do is we'll go ahead and say return a post once again. Our feed post will equal to the post that we get. We'll have our notification equal to false, and then we'll have key is equal to post ID, so it's not complaining at us. And then otherwise, we'll go ahead and just return nothing. So here we'll go ahead and return a div class name equal to, I don't know why we do this, but it is what it is, profile spinner dash box. Honestly, this should probably say like you have no likes or something, but it is what it is. This will be circular progress, size equal to 20, and then color equal to, not color, this should be SX with color inside of it, and this will be equal to 1D and a 1 F2. Not F2, F2, there we go. So that is our profile content area. Now, obviously we need to go through and make posts and all of that stuff to actually be able to see this stuff, but it is what it is. Now, the next question is, do we want to go through and just set up the CSS to make sure it looks pretty? Or do we want to go through and set up some other stuff? Or what do we want to do? I'm thinking we can maybe do the styling. The styling is going to take a little bit of time, but let's maybe do the styling and then get some content on there. And then next episode, we'll come back through and set up these special components and do whatever else we need to do to finish this, because then we can at least see some posts on here if we create some. So let's go and hop into CSS really quick and get that done. So inside of our content CSS, let's go ahead and say profile dash content dash post, and here we'll have a width of 100%. We'll go ahead and take up as much height as we need, so height dash fit content. We'll go ahead and display flex. We'll go ahead and flex dash direction, and this is going to be column, and then we'll go ahead and justify content in the center and align items in the center, and then we'll have profile dash content dash media, and here we'll have width 100%. We're going to have height of fit dash content once again, and then here we're going to display flex, but we're not going to go ahead and flex stretch and column. We're just going to actually have a flex dash wrap of wrap. That way it wraps around nicely, and we're gonna have a small gap of about 3px is what I thought was nice. For dot profile dash content dash media img, and here I'll have a width of 33%. We're gonna go ahead and have height of auto, and then we'll have an object dash fit of cover. And then we're going to have aspect ratio, and we're going to force the aspect ratio to be 1:1, and then everything should look fine. Next, we're going to do our likes. So we'll do dot profile dash content dash likes, and then this is going to be width 98%. We're going to go ahead and have a height of 44px, a margin of 4px0. We're going to have a padding of 12px, 16px, and then we're going to have a background dash color of RGB, and it's going to be 2,17,61. So this isn't quite Twitter built, it's a little bit different, but that's what Twitter uses. Color on this will be white. We'll go ahead and display flex this so it's side by side. We'll go ahead and justify content in the flex dash start, and we will align items in the center. We're going to have a border of none on this. We're going to have a small border radius, a border dash radius of about 4px. It's very, very subtle. We're gonna have a font dash, size of 14px. We're going to have a font dash weight, maybe, and it's going to be 400, and then we'll have a gap of 8px between the words and the SVG. And then finally, I have a profile dash content dash spinner dash box. Here we'll just have a width of 100% of our space, of a height of fit dash content, we'll have a padding on the top of about 32px just to give it a little bit of space on top. Display flex, we're going to go ahead and justify content in the center, and align items in the center. So in theory, as long as I didn't typo anything, which there's a big chance I did, this should be good to display everything. Obviously, we don't have any posts or anything right now. We don't have any likes, we don't have any media, and we can try to go ahead and set some of that stuff up and see what we can do. So let's go ahead and hop into the front end, see if we can test this out a little bit, see if everything breaks, and then wrap up the episode. So now if we refresh this, we can see right now, use it as only post, highlights. This is going to be a different component, so that's why that's kind of weird. Articles, media, and then likes. That's maybe it is the right color. I'm gonna go ahead and double check. I think it actually is the right color, but let me double check Twitter really quick on that, and let me go ahead and see what's going on with these highlights and media, because this doesn't quite look right, I don't think. So media is fine because we're going to be wrapping all the stuff, although we might want to still do a display flex in the center. That way at least this one will be centered. But let me double check the CSS for the component that we're creating. Okay, we don't need to because it's going to be centered by a new component, so I'm going to ignore that. That's also the same case with these, so that is fine. So let's go ahead and get some posts, or at least a post in here, and then let's also get a post with media in here. So let's go back to home. We need to go ahead and get this post button working, but it is what it is. Let's also like a couple posts here, just to have some posts inside of our likes. Let's go ahead and say testing our post out again to see them in the profile page. Okay, let's go ahead and post that. Cool. And then let's go ahead and make a post with media. I'm going to go ahead and hide my screen for a second. So post with media, media test. I'm going to hide my screen for a sec. I'm going to go ahead and click on a couple of images here. Okay, let's go ahead and post this. So that's kind of concerning. Did this fail? Console failed 500. So that's no bueno. Let's see what happened with this. I don't want to debug the images all night or all morning. So if it doesn't want to work, I'll come back and fix it. Although I don't see a 500 in here. Let's refresh. Weird. Let's try again. Right. Send the post with media. Go ahead and try one image this time. Yeah, we got a 500, unable to create posts this time. Okay, so we might have to come back and do the post later. I'm not sure what's going on with this guy, and I don't have the entire morning to debug, but we can at least like just create one more post to test, and then go ahead and create this. I don't know what's going on with our post with media. We'll go through and take a look at that, but let's go to our profile. So now you can see we have our post, our replies. We should have some likes in here, and then I will work on figuring out what the heck's going on with our images. In next episode, I'll show you guys the media working as well. But we're getting pretty long here, and I think this is a good place to wrap up. If you guys did enjoy, please like, comment, and subscribe. Everything helps out here on the YouTube algorithm. If you guys do want to see we start from absolute scratch to get to where we are now, there's going to be a playlist in the end screen coming right up. With that being said, y'all, hope you have a great day. This has been Ethan Uncutter, and I'll see you all in the next video.